At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hey, it's me, Gus the Gopher for Atmos Energy. I dig all around the yard. Occasionally, I bump into a utility line and get a headache. But if you hit one with your shovel, backhoe, or ditch digger, you could cause a gas leak, disrupt service, or worse. So call 811 at least 3 business days before you or someone else digs in your yard to have those underground utility-owned lines marked. It's free and it's the law. You dig what I'm saying? For more on safe digging, visit atmosenergy.com/811.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and welcome everybody. We're opening up this screen door on this big old porch we call gardening. Screen door takes you into a little insight and background to gardening in the South. I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and me and Java and all the folks here at MPB, we welcome you. If you got some things on your mind, you want to give us a call, it's toll free. I won't try to sell you anything. And I'm a retired horticulturist, extension service, blah, 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 blah. So, and I'm also a gardener, Java. You've been to my garden. I ain't that great a gardener.
Yeah, me and my family, we took a trip to the garden the other day, and you're a peculiar type of gardener. You have all the knowledge. Yeah,
it ain't what you know. Yeah, I can talk the talk. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but also I often tell people, and I told Crystal this after we left, Felder's gone a lot of the year. He's doing talks every other weekend and throughout the week. So he's not one of those gardeners who can get out in the garden every day, tend to this, tend to that, So.
Yeah, so I plan ahead. I try to, I've spent a lifetime of looking at plants in cemeteries and small towns and country gardens and older people's gardens who have done it, have seen it all, done it, been there, done that, and what do they end up loving and growing? That's the most rewarding with the least effort. That's what I do. Looks like an elderly person on Wellbutrin, just sort of easing around the yard. But I do have a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, and we took we brought the kids along, and it's a lot of eye candy. I'll say that. It's a lot of eye candy.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't know if folks, those who are on live stream can see this. If you're not on live stream, either go to go to YouTube, MPB online, whatever. But you can listen to this anytime on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and in the search box put Gestalt Gardener or MPB, and you can see what I'm about to show. Because Java, I'm telling on myself here.
Just a little bit.
I got your kids out. I had growing some potatoes in a pot, right? I had 4 pots of potatoes, and I dumped one out the day before to make sure it was going to work, and there were potatoes in it. Well, I got your kids around, got them all jazzed up, said, "Look at this." I dumped it out, and I had 2 little, they're not even the size of marbles, 2 potatoes in that whole bucket.
And I remember Marley Phoenix, they were like, there's no potatoes in there.
Yeah. Well, I just want to show you, I dumped out the other ones yesterday, and I grew some big ones.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good sized potato.
I think you just picked the wrong pot. That's all.
It's look. You're familiar with Murphy's Law. If something can go wrong, it will.
Yeah.
Well, this is called Sod's Law. SOD, Sod's Law. If something will go wrong, it will go wrong at the worst possible time. And getting your kids around and jacking up their and then 2 little bitty potatoes.
Yeah.
It's who better though for that to happen to than me. Anyway, I do have a picture of if we can put it up of what I actually grew. A bunch of potatoes. I got white potatoes, Yukon Gold potatoes, and red potatoes. One of them's got a wormhole in it, yeah, but I grew those in buckets.
Yeah, so, no, it was pretty neat how you were, they were like you told them there are potatoes in this, and then they were like, no, what? And then you turned it over, digged out the, well, for that particular pot.
That's okay. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. I did bring in a couple of things here on the desk in front of me. Yellow tomato is called Lemon Boy, and a little red tomato. The yellow ones are kind of sweet. They're like peaches. And the nice part about yellow tomatoes, birds don't peck them because they don't look ripe because they're yellow colored. It's just one of those oddball things. But the little one I have, a little small and about twice the size of my thumb, that's a paste type of tomato. It's got all sorts of different names, but they don't have a lot of juice. They're not good for slicing them. They're good for putting up and making sauce and stuff like that. So anyway, I did grow a couple of different kind of tomatoes. I just want to brag because it ain't much, but I did it, and so I feel better than other people.
How many more tomato sandwiches have you made?
Well, I use these little these small ones called Roma tomatoes, and what I did is I sliced them in half and put about 4 on a piece of bread with some mayo. So I managed to get a few out of it. So anyway, but a lot of people are having stuff coming in. A lot of people have trouble with the rain. So much rain last week, and their tomatoes are rotting on the bottom. It's called blossom end rot, but it's not necessarily a lack of calcium. Blossom end rot usually means you need to add some lime or something to your soil, but if it stays really wet or really dry, tomatoes can still get that little leathery rotten spot on the bottom. Also, if you get a big rain and the tomatoes haven't grown for a while, it's been hot and dry, get a big rain, they swell up and they can actually split open. So anyway, tomatoes are always a gamble, so we can talk about that and some other stuff too. But meanwhile, we have a caller from Charleston, South Carolina. Kevin, what's up with your okra?
All right, so first time I've ever planted okra. We just grabbed one plant at the big box store. Yeah. And it's only yielding like one or two pods at a time.
Yeah, that's normal.
Is there something I can do to boost that, or do I just need to buy more plants?
Well, one thing you can do is, believe it or not, this is going to hurt your heart to do this, but if you cut the plant back, it can branch out and have more than one stem. But typically you can get 1 or 2, rarely 3 at a time per plant. So it might be best to go ahead. If you like okra, go ahead and plant some. And there's different kinds. I grow 3 different kinds myself. And there's many dozens. So if you decide to plant some, you've got all summer. You can plant okra up until the first week in August and still get okra. But if you get some seed, here's a really weird trick. I learned this from an old guy who'd been doing this forever. Take your okra seed and put them in just a little Clorox, chlorine bleach, just straight Clorox for about 5 minutes, just enough to cover them. And then rinse them off real good. Mm-hmm. And then if you'll roll them up in a damp piece of paper towel, within 2 days they'll be sprouted, and you can put them exactly where you want. Okay. A little 5 minutes in Clorox, and then rinse them. It really does work.
I'll be darned, ain't that something? All right, sounds good. The other question I had, I called in last week, and you were kind enough to give me the skinny on the oldest crepe myrtle in North America over at Middleton Place.
Yep.
Now, what I'm wondering is, with your knowledge, are there any smaller gardens worth visiting that maybe aren't as well publicized, anything like that? Is there any place you've ever been around here that would be worth a trip?
Well, I've been all over, in your area near Charleston. Middleton Place, of course, good, but Live Oak Gardens, unbelievable place out there. But, just walking around the older part of town in Charleston, anywhere in the low country, you get into small towns and country gardens. But, y'all been gardening for, about 400 years now, 350, 400 years. So you're going to get it right after a while. But I would just not the main touristy streets, but 2 or 3 blocks away from the tourist stuff in the older parts of town, you'll see some terrific stuff. There's also a really good old cemetery down by the Unitarian Church in Charleston that's got some good old roses in it.
I've been there. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you just test and see if I can make this stuff up, weren't you?
No, hey, I come to the font of knowledge, good sir.
All righty, man.
All right, hey. I'll go ahead and shove off, but I do want to tell you real fast, you're about to have a bunch of new listeners from the squadron that I'm at. Turns out we got a bunch of gardeners. I told them about your show, and they're going to be loving to tune in.
Is this Navy?
No, this is Air Force, sir.
Air Force. Okay, that's okay. I was on the Kitty Hawk during Vietnam. I had bombers. You guys landing on my roof.
I'll be darned. Well, thanks for your service, sir.
Yeah. Hey, one other thing I got to ask you, Kevin. What do you do with one or two okra? What do you do with one or two okra? Come on. Nothing.
Okay, so you know what? Funny you ask. So we had some kale ready to go. It had some cherry tomatoes ready to go. So I literally just did a Japanese style sautéed like almost like an appetizer salad.
You go.
Very small plate, but it was absolutely delicious.
It sounds like you could probably get while you're riding around looking at gardens. You could probably bring some roadkill home and eat it with that combination.
I think it would. I think it would take even a common street pizza and make it taste good.
Well, sir, Kevin, we appreciate your call, man. Stay cool and hydrated.
I'll do what I can down here.
And there's a friend of mine who is a pilot says, keep the greasy side down. Have you ever heard
right.
that?
I sure enough have. I hang out with enough flyers to hear it.
Okay, man. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Take care, boss. Bye.
His job for folks who might not have listened last week. The oldest crepe myrtle in North America, planted in 1783, is in Middleton Place, an old pre-revolutionary place outside Charleston City. Oldest crepe myrtle, and I've got a picture of me. I can't even get my arms a fifth of the way around it. It's a huge old thing.
Okay.
So anyway, let's go to Brandon and talk with Jane. Jane, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good.
Okay, I have two beautiful Natchez crepe myrtles that I've had for at least 15 years, blooming beautiful every year, perfect. This year, no blooms at all, not even a bud.
That's weird.
Now the only thing different that I did this year, I did not put drench around it. That's the only thing.
Well, the drench for the crepe myrtle bark scale, it usually lasts a year or two, sometimes 3 years. So you don't have to put drench around it all the time. That's just to control insect. It has no effect on the flower. It's really unusual because so many people around the state are sending in pictures to the Mississippi Gardening Facebook page, and they're saying that crepe myrtles are better this year than they've ever seen them. So you just must have bad luck or something.
Okay.
Natchez crepe myrtle, there's a lot of different kind of crepe myrtles. Natchez is an old upright. It's a hybrid called Forii, Lagerstroemia Forii. It's not your regular indica crepe myrtle that we've always grown up with. These are grown to be long and tall and sculptural and architectural. They don't have heavy blooms even under the best of conditions compared to the other, shorter, more widespread kinds. So they're never known. Natchez is not known for a lot of flowers. So it just might be it might just be your plant's just tired, needs a break.
Well, that's probably it then. Thank you.
Okay, Jane, thanks for your call. And then slide over to Neshoba County. Bill, you're growing probably the best alternative to crepe myrtles that there is. You're growing an althea, right?
I am.
What's up with it?
Well, I have actually two bunches, both of which were given to me by relatives. But anyway, the oldest one fell over in the late spring and broke off at the ground level about 3/4 of the way. And I didn't get to cut it down, and the thing is flowering like crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, should I stake it up, or should I just wait until it stops flowering and cut it down?
Yeah.
If I do cut it down, is that going to kill it?
No, I would do the latter. You can't. Althea, a lot of people call it Rose of Sharon. In Java, this is an oddball thing. It's called Rose of Sharon because it's native to the plains of Sharon in the Old Testament. It's called the Rose of Sharon. But anyway, Althea is a hibiscus, hardy hibiscus. It's a shrub. It grows outside in Canada. I mean, it is one tough plant. But if it fell over, that tells me it's got rotten roots. To fall over, the roots on the far side have got to be torn, and the roots on the side that fell towards got bent back like trying to pull your finger back. And so it's not straightening it up is not going to help. At the same time, if you go ahead and cut it back, it can straighten itself. The new growths will straighten themselves up and just have it leaning over. But I'd wait till it gets through blooming, and you could still cut it back up until easily the end of August or September, and it'll still have time for the new growth to come out and toughen up before winter. So as long as you get it done sometime before first or the middle part of August, I would just cut it back real hard.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, it got some kind of root damage. It might have been because it was way too dry for a couple of years and then way too wet and back and forth and got some root rot. But, once the tree falls over, straightening it back up is, it never works.
Okay. I got a saw. I can cut it back.
All righty, man. Good luck on it.
Thank you.
And speaking of which, do you know if the Picklefest is going on this weekend, Java? Or not?
This Saturday, or is it today? I know it's a 2-day event, but it's this weekend.
Yeah, and I've been to it a number of times at the Agricultural Museum. I've got a picture here of the old doctor's herb, the doctor's place in the little small town they've got. And they've got a herb garden back behind it. And I don't know if we can put that picture up or not, but it's like a house with a bunch of flowers. There it is. This is a herb garden behind the doctor's house, and it is loaded with flowers and antique stuff and old, medicinal, culinary herbs. It's got a nice little herb garden for eating. It's got a whole garden full of nothing but different kind of mints. And anyway, if you go to the Picklefest or anytime you know the Ag Museum, which is on Lakeland Drive right before it hits Interstate 55, right by the baseball stadium.
Yeah, it's right off of 55. You can't miss it.
This is a herb garden that's been there since the 1980s. The Master Gardens take care of it. It is definitely worth a look. And if you take kids there, have them rub some of the leaves and see where spaghetti gets its flavor, because they've got a nice little culinary herb thing there.
Yeah, and the Picklefest is this Saturday and Sunday, June 7th and 8th at the Ag Museum.
It's a fascinating old place. And their old farmhouse, they've got the old original farmhouse itself. There's one of these altheas, what made me think of that, Rose of Sharon, that was dug up from the original place when they moved the house from down South Mississippi to the now museum. I went down there and dug up the althea and the fig and a cedar tree, and we planted them in the same spot.
And brought them back.
So you'll see an althea growing by the farmhouse where it was growing there 100 years ago.
Okay.
So anyway, that'll be a lot of fun. I hear the music saying we're going to take a break.
Yeah, it's time for our first break of the hour, man.
Okay, well, I got a cheesy tune coming up in a little while, but we've got the lines wide open, got a few callers. If you'll stick with us, folks, we're going to come back and talk with you about what's going on in your June garden here in Mississippi. We'll be right back. Me and Java and all the folks here at MPB, we're glad you joined us.
Every parent wants their child to grow, to explore, and to dream big. At MPB, we're proud to support families and teachers across Mississippi with trusted educational programming and resources that inspire learning and spark imagination. From PBS Kids Favorites to digital tools and early learning support, MPB is here for young minds, engaged classrooms, and families who believe in the power of learning at every age. Empowering families, inspiring learners. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hello, I'm Desiree Frazier, host of the award-winning news program, Mississippi Edition. We bring you conversations about the latest news from across the Magnolia State. Whether it's politics, healthcare, or education, you'll hear in-depth discussions on issues that matter to you. So join us each weekday morning at 8:30 on MPB Think Radio, or download the podcast, listen through the app, and online.
Okie doke, folks. Welcome back. Before we go to this phone call, Java, I got a picture of you and me standing in the street in front of my house.
And it was so peculiar because you proved to me, and everybody who's about to see this picture that you are not a Larry.
No. I was putting up a little arbor, and I was gonna plant some beans and dig a little bit. And I remember here on MPB, Atmos Energy says call 811, and I called them
before you did.
Which is a good thing because they came by and it put flags and yellow stripes all through my garden. As a matter of fact, they got on my shrubs too. That my burgundy nandina has got yellow leaves on it. My fall chrysanthemum's got yellow leaves. But I think it's real pretty. But anyway, it's proof. They came out, they marked it, which is a good thing because I was going to punch a pipe right through where that thing was.
Where you showed that, where you dug, you were so close. So it was the best thing in the world. We appreciate Atmos Energy for supporting the program and reminding us to dial 811, just like Felder did. If Felder can do it, you can do it too. Dial 811 before you dig.
Okay, and I know they're sponsoring the show, but I don't have to say this. I don't get paid to say any of this kind of stuff. But if I had just pounded that piece of rebar in where I was going to, it would have shot straight up and knocked the space station out.
Yeah, it would have been. I'm still flabbergasted at how close you were. It was you were literally right there.
Right on.
Yeah.
So anyway, live and learn, huh? or learn ahead of time.
Yes.
And live because you learned.
Live because you learned.
Hey, that's not a bad little slogan there. Anyway, we've been neglecting our callers. Let's go up to Poplarville and see what Cheryl, thank you for holding. How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you doing today?
Good. Job and I having so much fun. Anyway, thank you for holding. What's up?
One more okra question: to thin or not to thin? Mine's all coming up. Some people tell me to thin it, and some people tell me not to thin it. What do you think?
Well, country folks, they just whatever grows, they just go with that. From a horticulture, from the plant's point of view, they would prefer to have a little elbow room. If you plant them real close, they'll grow, but they'll produce better. They'll be sturdy if they have 6 or 8 inches between them. A foot would be better, but old folks say, there's some people, they don't even plant okra. They just let whatever comes back up from what fell down the year before. But from the plant's point of view, horticulture, it'd be better to give 6, 8 inches, 10 inches, maybe even a foot. They'll produce a whole lot better.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay, appreciate it. All right, and that's now going from Poplar, slide on down Highway 43 to Long Beach, which is kind of coincident, from Poplarville straight down to Long Beach on Highway 43. What's up, Nora?
Well, good morning.
Howdy.
I have a question for you, and I'm going to use all the wrong terms as I describe it.
Okay.
I have 2 big sago palms in my yard.
Yeah.
And the trees got a lot of the fronds, and they were all yellow, so I cut off all the old ones. And most of the arms of the sago palm have put out new fronds, and it's beautiful. But I've got the tallest one did not put out new fronds, and I've noticed a lot of neighbors are having the same issue.
Yeah.
Do you think that one's just dead, or should I give it a chance to maybe come back?
Well, I can't say for sure, but I'm from central Mississippi. I'm actually originally from North Mississippi, up in the Delta, and sagos often got winter damage up in North Mississippi, sometimes in central. And I wouldn't be surprised if that snow that y'all had, a rare snow you had back this past winter, might have caught the sagos, which are tropical plants. It might have caught them just a little bit tender, and if it killed the bud, sago's not a true palm, but it's close enough. They have one bud at the very top of it. If it gets killed,
exactly,
it can't put it. That happens with all the palms. So I would still give it a little time though, because it could take 2 or 3 months, because it might be that bud just hadn't got the message yet. But if it hadn't put out by the middle of the summer, it's gone.
Okay, very good. I'll take care of it.
Do you have little small?
You
have little small ones growing around the base of it to replace them?
Oh. All over. I've got tons of them.
Yeah,
tons of them.
Well, let's just wait and see.
Not a problem.
I'd be curious to find out if it does put out. I'd be curious to find out when. So let us know. So if it does put out, I want to know how long to tell people to expect next time.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Little citizen research there. Appreciate it, Nora.
All right. Bye.
Okay, now let's slide up to Lafayette County, to Oxford. Terry, how are you this morning?
Good, Felder. How are you doing?
So far, so good. I'm cheerful anyway, and it's not even the antihistamines this time.
All right, look, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Very similar to the lady that asked about the okra. I'm growing some Silver Queen corn in my garden. You know, the best sweet corn you can get. But anyway, the seed pack said, you know, plant the seeds, you know, 6 to 8 inches apart, and then come back and thin them. Well, you know, as fate would have it, every seed came up.
Yeah.
And I can't bring myself to pull up a healthy plant. I mean, can I just leave it like it is, or do I really need to thin it?
Well, you don't really need to thin it, but how do you want corn plants or do you want corn?
Corn.
Well, the plants need elbow room. You know, there's just like a lot of people don't prune their fruit trees, and they get great fruit trees and not much fruit. The plants, they compete with each other for energy, for nutrients, for moisture. And, you know, there's a reason why we thin stuff out. It's not just for neatness. If you could, you don't have to pull them. You could take a pair of scissors and just snip them off. But do you have very much corn? It's got a big patch?
Yeah, I got like six 30-foot rows of it.
You know, look, if you don't thin them out, you can leave only one plant every foot, and that's still more Silver Queen corn than you can put up at one time. And next time, think about next time you got that many rows. Plant every couple of weeks. Plant a succession of them, unless you're growing up to put up. And if you get a freezer or something like that, but a lot of times people plant a bunch of corn, they get it all at once, and it's more corn than they can handle. So if you plant some every couple of 3 weeks, you'll have a continuous harvest. But anyway, thin them out.
I've done that, but I've done that before, and you know, I end up with the problems with that corn worms.
Yeah.
You know, with the later ones.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, right by the road, you see these commercial corn farms, and you know, the plants are like 6 inches apart.
Yeah, well, they plant the seeds that way. Let's do a little second in a row. Citizen research: thin some and don't thin some. I'm curious, you know, thin some to maybe 6 inches apart, and find a little area in the row where you can thin some to maybe 8 or 10 inches apart, and let's just see how they do. It might be that they produce earlier or better or more or whatever. And by the way, as far as the corn earworm, the moth that lays it on the silk. It doesn't do any good to spray before then, and once the silks turn brown, they're not going to lay eggs. So when you first start seeing the silk, you can spray that with this stuff called BT, which is a biological worm. It's not a poison. You put it right on, just get a squirt on each silk. That'll control them for the whole year. Just spraying that silk when it first starts showing, maybe again a couple of 3 days later, and that'll keep them out for the whole season.
All right. Love your show, man. Thank you. Appreciate your help.
Thanks for being part of it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Now, Java, before we do our cheesy tune, I got some pictures from your yard.
Yeah, we'll get to the pictures.
We'll get to them later, or you want to do the tune first?
We're going to do the tune first, but I do like how you asked the question. You said, do you want corn plants or do you want corn?
Yeah. Well, the tune we're about to play, for the folks who listen later on the live stream, they don't, they don't put it on here, but it was sent in from a listener named Candy Wheeler.
Yes.
Yeah, we visited her garden. She had a bunch of friends over, neighbors. Had a nice time in her garden up in Tupelo. Well, she sent me this tune, and it's a trio. It's Keb Mo, Taj Mahal, and Dolly Parton.
Okay.
And it says everything, a good metaphor for this program here on MPB. The Gestalt Gardener is for everybody. We don't care who you are, who your mom and them are. Gardening is a big old porch, and we want you to come on up. Anyway, it's called On the Porch by Keb Mo. We'll be right back with more Gestalt Gardener. All the folks here, John C. and Abram and Java, we'll be right back.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hey, it's me, Gus the Gopher for Atmos Energy. I dig all around the yard. Occasionally, I bump into a utility line and get a headache. But if you hit one with your shovel, backhoe, or ditch digger, you could cause a gas leak, disrupt service, or worse. So call 811 at least 3 business days before you or someone else digs in your yard to have those underground utility-owned lines marked. It's free and it's the law. You dig what I'm saying? For more on safe digging, visit atmosenergy.com/811.
Folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and I got something to chat about with Java's garden. But first of all, let's take care of business. Let's go down to Ocean Springs and see what Hugh's up to. Good morning, Hugh. How are you?
Good morning. It's hot and sweaty here, but that's
yeah,
what
man.
I like about the South.
And it ain't even summer yet.
It's not even summer.
What you got going on?
Just embrace it. My question is, I've recently discovered 2 additional volunteer Texas stars coming up, and what's the likelihood of them being successful if I put them in a pot to move them someplace where it's easier to enjoy?
Oh, it's real easy. I would cut them back though. Cut them back to a foot and a half or so tall, and that does not hurt them at all. Matter of fact, they'll actually branch out and have more flowers. But if you cut it back, dig them, water them in. If it haven't had any rain in a few days, I'd water them a couple of 3 hours ahead of time to make sure they're nice and plump. I cut them back, put them in a pot, and they'll do great.
Because they just came up in the middle of some other stuff. I've tried to put seeds in different places and never had any luck growing from seed, but these.
Yeah, here's something unusual about the Texas star. It's a hibiscus. It's I think it's militaris. I can't remember, but the leaves are really skinny, like fingers. As a matter of fact, it looks a little bit like marijuana. I can't grow it in my yard just because of the way I look. There's some plants, and I just can't do it. But anyway, they call it Texas star, but it's funny. It's not even native to Texas. It's native to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Louisiana. But the Texans brand everything, and so they call it Texas star. But it's it's a native to the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Well, anyway, it seems happy here. I have a couple of stands in different places.
Yeah.
These are, on the same property, but they're not.
Yeah,
close proximity.
It's the same family as okra and other hibiscus, and comes up from seed, no problem at all. Anyway, just water them ahead of time, cut them back. They won't skip a beat.
Right on. Thank you so much.
Okay, Hugh, appreciate it. And folks, we got the lines open now, but I did bring a plant, a little show and tell I've got here. It's got finger-like leaves. It looks like a possum hand, just sort of spread out. This is a plant that came from my great-grandmother, Java. I grew up at the Ag Museum. If anybody goes to the Picklefest, swing by the Dr. Herb Garden. Outside the fence is this plant. It's a pretty good plant. It got palmate leaves. It looks like a hand spread out. This is cassava.
Cassava.
Yeah, so cassava is native to Africa, and you can dig the roots up. It's like a big sweet potato tuber, and grind it up. It's the 4th most important source of flour on Earth, and it's really, really tough, really durable. It's got funny little flowers, but the roots also is what they make tapioca from.
Okay,
now, that's some stupid stuff to know. And before we get any more calls, let me mention, Java, you and I visited in your garden this past week.
Yeah, we were actually able to. We weren't washed out.
Yeah, well, and I got a picture of you and lovely Crystal standing in her garden. I'm gonna call it her garden.
You're doing right. You're doing right.
I was raised right. Plus, she's the one out there turning the leaves over, looking at stuff, squishing bugs and fussing. And,
No. Circle back. She's not squishing bugs.
Oh, she's thumping them.
No, she's calling me to deal with the bugs.
Well, anyway, she wanted an arch.
Yes.
And I happened, and y'all went out and got some of this fencing type fabric, and it was kind of flimsy. It wouldn't really hold up. So I went to the house and got some rebar, and I got a picture of you and me bending some rebar around a tree. Let's see if we can call that up.
Yeah, we were working, man. We were working.
Look at it. I mean, we bent rebar into some hoops, and then we tied it up around the garden itself. I think it's got a picture of you holding the fencing up. There we go. And we were holding up with a cut-off piece of cedar tree, and then here's a finished product. It's an arch that's made with the rebar and dog fencing. It's not a perfect curve there, Java.
Yeah, from the earlier that morning to how it looked that afternoon, that's perfect.
Well, and the important thing is it's there.
Yes, and what we did with the cedar tree that was holding it up, we made a bottle tree.
I'm not sure Crystal was approved of that, but I got one of your girls to put the first bottle on there, so it's on Crystal now to disappoint your daughter.
Well, it has more bottles on it now. You'll be happy to know.
Good. Well, anyway, it's a little arch and just made it with some rebar, and some fencing.
It worked. And I appreciate you and Susan coming over and really tending to the garden. We did.
Well, while we were there, Susan took a picture of a dragonfly. I think I've got a picture of that here in your garden. I don't know if your kids have noticed dragonflies yet.
No, that was a surprise to me because it was nice and blue and just like it was just there.
And it's looking for mosquitoes. They fly.
Oh well, we got plenty of those.
They put their dragonflies fly. They put their 6 legs out like a basket in front of them, and they fly around. And they just scoop stuff up and eat it on the wing. Isn't that weird? So anyway, if anyone wants to give us a call, we've got the lines wide open.
Felder, we do have a couple. Toll free 1-877 MPB ring. But we do have a couple YouTube questions.
All right.
Want to always acknowledge our YouTube listeners. Listeners, our viewers. We got Barbara.
They listeners too. Listeners and lookers.
Barbara, Margie, Kendall, and Pamela, who said she was happy to meet you out at the Daylilies event in Hattiesburg.
Oh, that was incredible, Java. We went down there to the Daylilies show, and by the way, I got pictures of the winners and all, and it's just incredible. The Daylilies looked like they came from Hobby Lobby.
Uh-oh.
They were so thick and durable and pretty and beautiful. They didn't look real. But it was a beautiful show, and I had a good time. I visited a couple of gardeners in the area, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But anyway, it was terrific, and I got to meet a bunch. We were taking pictures of a mural downtown because Daylilies is the official flower of Hattiesburg.
Okay. There's
a big mural down there. Taking pictures, a whole carload of women. It looked like one of those clown cars. And they all piled out. Felder, let's get a picture. It was fantastic. But before we left, I noticed they were hanging around looking at those Daylilies. And I hollered real loud, okay, Hattiesburg, there's master gardeners. Watch their purses. They're going to dig your plants up.
There you go. Yeah, hide your Daylilies. Also want to say good morning to AC from Carroll County. But then we got a question we've been talking about crepe myrtles a little bit today. Fern from Clarksdale says, I've got a large crepe myrtle with this prickly green briar vine growing up out of it. I don't know how to kill it. And I don't mind losing the crepe myrtle, but I wouldn't know how to remove it myself either, or which tools to use to get it up. I'm also reading your book, Slow Gardening, and finding lots of solace in its pages.
Good.
So that's Fern.
That's what Slow Gardening is about, is savoring what you do. Enjoy, do what you like and savor it. Share it with other people. Anyway, so let me get this straight. She got a crepe myrtle. It's got this vine, which, by the way, is called smilax.
Okay.
Some people call it greenbrier.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call it the devil's spawn. But it comes up from, it's a native plant. It comes up from a woody tuber, and you can cut it and pull it and do everything you want to, but it's going to keep coming from the tuber until you peel it, until you peter it out or dig the tuber up. You can kill it by cutting it back and then spraying the new growth or wiping the new growth with glyphosate, which is a herbicide. Only kills what you put it on the leaves of. But you can get rid of the spilax by cutting it back, and when the new growth comes out, wiping some of this glyphosate on it. Otherwise, let it grow. Come on. It's pretty. In the wintertime, the crepe myrtles drop their leaves. This is a nice, pretty evergreen native vine. And one last thing, Java, the new growth on it, the tips of it, it's in the family of asparagus. You can eat the new tips of it raw or cook it just like asparagus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you can't beat it, eat it. Anyway, let's go down to Hattiesburg and see what Keith is up to. Keith, we were just talking about, are you really from Hattiesburg?
No, I'm originally from Smith County, but I went to school down here, and I'm down here today.
They got, right downtown, they got a little art alley. Have you seen that?
I have. I sure have.
It is incredible. I got all sorts of pictures of people have done the most incredible little clever art things. They've had a little small official-looking signs that they put by the different ferns and things growing out of the cracks. The most mannerly wildflower. It's incredible.
It really is.
Well,
it's a neat little place.
Yeah, what's going on?
I have a key lime tree that I grew from a seed. This year's its 19th year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really any good for anything.
Yeah.
I think last year I had 6 limes on it. But
that's enough.
It's kind of gotten to be my thing to take care of. I also have an avocado tree that's the same age, but the key lime tree has some on the older leaves. It has looks like black mold on the leaves.
Yeah. Does it
And I'm just wondering, is that going to be anything that threatens my plant? Or?
Have you tried rubbing? Does the stuff rub off?
Yes, it will.
Okay. What that black stuff is, and whether it's on a key lime or a gardenia or crepe myrtle or whatever, that's a type of mold. It's called sooty mold. And it's the same mold that if you leave a drop of pancake syrup on your kitchen counter, within a week or two, it's going to have the same mold. The mold is growing on sugars, and the sugars are from undigested sap from insects. You got some kind of bugs either on the key lime or on a plant up above it, and their excrement has got undigested plant sugars in the sap, and it falls down. It's kind of sticky. And then this sooty mold grows on that. So you can rub the mold off, but the problem is going to be the insects that are sucking sap out of something up above there.
Okay.
Well, you may not need it. You may not do anything at all. If you just rub it off, the plant looks okay. You don't need to do anything. But if you want to spray, you got to look on the bottom of the leaves. Probably aphids. It might be whiteflies, but you have to spray 2 or 3 times a week or so apart. And it might be easy just to wipe the stuff off. It doesn't hurt the plant. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. I just didn't want it to. I mean, I've got 19 years invested in this plant. I don't want to lose it.
Well, this is one of the tenets of slow gardening, which is a thing I started. Matter of fact, it's in my Wikipedia page now on slow gardening. But it's one of the things about savor things, and having a plant like that you take care of, it gives you continuity. It gives you attention to detail. It gives you something to look forward to, and it's a good thing. Taking care of an old cat is good, but sometimes just having a favorite old plant is wonderful, and that's what it is. So.
All right. Thank you for your help.
Okay, Keith, appreciate it. And by the way, folks, if you're ever up under a crepe myrtle tree or any kind of tree that's sort of raining, sort of dripping, something rain coming, don't look up with your mouth open. That's insect excrement. Trees don't leak. That's bug dew.
That was great advice, but the mental visual I got was not pleasant.
Yeah. Hey, let's go up to Fulton now, up to the icebox of Mississippi. Rebecca, what's going on in the way up in the Northeast?
It is a gorgeous day. Gorgeous day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I answered my own question after I called in. I have a monstera plant. I've got 2 of them actually. I got one that's little and that's in a hanging pot, and another that's you got to put on the porch.
Yeah, well, before we go any further, Java, she says monstera plant. This is a tropical plant. It's like a philodendron, but it's got holes in the leaves on purpose.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So anyway, keep going, Rebecca.
Swiss cheese plant is what they call it.
Yeah, Swiss cheese plant. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was trying to figure out whether to have it inside or outside. But I mean, I looked up online. It said that it prefers full sun, but
no,
I don't know.
No. Full sun in the tropics. In Mississippi, it'll burn up out in the full sun. It really likes bright light, but not hot sun. Morning or late afternoon would be fine. Middle of the day, no. You see it in Florida growing up in trees and all, but no, it needs protection from the hot sun here in Mississippi.
So it needs to be inside?
No, it'll do fine outside. I move all of my potted plants outside in a shaded area over the summertime where they get rain and they like humidity and warm temperatures and stuff. Just got to bring it in and keep it from freezing.
Okay. Well, I think it needs to be repotted, so there's that. I'm going to put it in a nice bright blue ceramic pot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here's a suggestion. See if you can find a plastic pot that'll fit down in it. And that way you can lift it in and out if it ever needs to be repotted or something. Anyway, the main thing is it likes bright indirect light and really going to do better in the humidity outdoors.
Okay. Well, thanks a bunch.
All
and
right.
Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Rebecca. You get outside and enjoy this pretty day.
I'm going to go walking after your program.
Appreciate it, Rebecca. Thanks.
Thank you.
And before we go to this next call, let me throw up a picture. It's a sort of a brown-looking mass that's growing on the ground. Java, we're seeing a lot of this. Because of the rain, we've had a lot of fungi, happy fungus. And when fungus is happy, it does this version of a flower and throws up all these mushrooms and puffballs and things like that. Well, there's one that we're seeing a lot on in people's lawns. It's just a massive brown little mushroom looking thing. That's a fungus that's growing on an old dead tree root. A lot of times if somebody cut a tree down, you'll have a row of these out in the yard. But if you see these kind of mushrooms and fungi in your garden, in your potting soil or under your trees, don't worry about it. These are wood decay fungi. They don't really hurt anything that's alive. So if you have mushrooms just popping up in your mulch around your trees and stuff, admire them, ignore them, or just pluck them and toss them. But they're not really anything to be concerned about. Now, let's go down to Hattiesburg. Tom, what's going on in Forest County?
Hey, Felder, I just want to tell you we're so fortunate to have the show. But I'll get right to it. We had grown some of the snow peas.
Yeah.
And the snow, and they got some worms on. And so I got out there and squished them, And anyway, some black mold got all over them.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that from where I squished them, I probably should pull them off and squish them off.
What, pull the worms off and squish them?
Yeah.
You can squish it
on the plant because it seems like you got the black mold even on the even on the fruit.
The black mold is probably coming from a different insect. The caterpillars chew on the plant, and they have I didn't know I was going to grow solid excrement. Okay, the black mold is growing on the drippings of probably aphids or something like that. So anyway, those snow peas are about to peter out anyway. They do not grow. They're starting to dry up anyway. So I don't know that I'd worry about it. Just squish what you can, pick what you can.
What can I use them for seed? The old ones, do you think they'll be all right for seed?
Yeah, but when you're growing stuff from seed, it's better to let some of the best ones. Don't wait till the very end to get the last seeds because let a few go ahead and mature on the plant till they turn brown and all, and then save those, and then keep on harvesting what you can.
All right, then. Thank you very much, though.
Okay, Tom, we appreciate it. Now we've got time for some more calls. If people want to give us a call at toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING. Java, I brought another big old thing here. Actually, two things. A lot of people are seeing this. They call it wild garlic. It's all on the roadsides, along riverbanks. You
talked about that last week. Yeah.
Well, I brought one of the flowers in. And this is actually a small one because I didn't want to cut my pretty big ones. You know, y'all ain't worth it. I'm not going to cut stuff from my yard, just talk about it on the radio. But anyway, it's a beautiful, it smells like garlic. You can eat it like garlic, but it's not really a garlic. It's a type of leek. But anyway, if you've got these big, tall, almost baseball-sized flowers coming up, it is used just like garlic. A lot of people saying, well, it's a garlic. No, it's not. But you can eat it like garlic. Anyway, elephant garlic. But I did have another bulb I brought in. This is a flower that's called crinum, C-R-I-N-U-M. There's white ones, there's pink ones, there's red ones. The most common one is white with little red stripes down the leaf. They call it milk and wine lily because it's milk and wine colored. Mm-hmm. And this is a real fragrant. This is a type of crinum. This is probably the best summer bulb in the South. I've seen it growing as far north as up into Tennessee, but it's a plant that once you got it forever because it just won't stop. But I dug some up the other day. I just wanted to show you how big the bulb is. That is a big old bulb.
Yeah, no, that's That's humongous.
Yeah, and it takes two people to pull them apart. But anyway, I dug them up, I cut them back, and I'm just going to move them around. But this is the one durable type of bulb. I saw some at a shopping center near Jackson called Dogwood Place. They're growing it in the parking lot islands. That's how tough a plant this is. But anyway, crinum lilies have not been traditionally sold in garden centers because they're big and they're expensive. But if you know somebody's got some milk and wine or the white one or the red one, ask them for a piece of it. They're obligated to give you a piece, Java, because they got it from somebody.
Basically, yeah.
That's one of those pass along plant rules. If you got it from somebody, it's up to you to pass it along to somebody else.
Yeah, no sense in hoarding.
No. It's a great plant.
Well, it's funny I said hoarding because one of the first comments we got this morning on the YouTube live stream, and if you want to get to it, youtube.com, the Gestalt Gardener, or follow us on our website, mpbonline.org. But Barbara, let's see, she says, I am a bulb hoarder.
A bulb hoarder.
Like, I did not plant this year's daffodils.
Uh-oh.
I have, and I'm going to butcher this name, Caliscendium bulbs still unplanted. Is there a 12-step program for people like me?
No, there's not. Matter of fact, Java, I dug some bulbs a couple of years ago, meant to plant them, put them in a pot, set them aside, forgot about them. And the next spring, they were blooming, no dirt, just blooming bulbs in a pot, just an old nursery pot. Anyway, it'd be better to go ahead and plant them. Because bulbs, just like an onion, you can't keep an onion for months and months and months. It goes soft. So it'd be better to go ahead and plant them. If she can't get around to doing it, at least keep them in a cool, kind of a dry place.
Now, one final question. This is pretty much a softball for you, and I love this name on YouTube, Miss Boogie Woogie.
Boogie Woogie, all
she
right.
says, love the show. Can Felder please give me some suggestions for some evergreen shrubs to go in the front of my home?
Oh, boy. I don't know even where to get started. And my first go-to plant, a lot of people don't like it because it's old-fashioned. A lot of people don't like it because it can spread a little bit. But it is unkillable. This is cemetery tough. It's called Nandina. An old-fashioned Nandina. And y'all have got some Nandinas around your house.
We do.
But they're big. They're taller than you are. You're a big old guy. But there's some dwarf kinds. There's one called Compacta that only gets about 4 feet tall. They've got Harbor Dwarf and Gulfstream. They only get about 2 feet tall. Or if you start off with some different kind of Nandinas and maybe some Yopon hollies, Youpon, then they'll be there forever. And then you can add other stuff if you get around to it, something more exciting. But Nandina and Yopon holly, one native, one not native, good go-to plants. But anyway, it's been fun today.
Been rocking and rolling. I think it's the weather.
It could be. Well, I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing. Java Chapman, awesome producer. We've got Abram and John C. Doing the live stream. If you get a chance, folks, share this. Let other folks know that you can watch this on YouTube. But meanwhile, if you get a chance, go to a garden center this weekend. They're loaded with plants. Take a kid with you and show them how to do what we do best, and that's get dirty. See y'all next week.